Okay, welcome back to the channel. In this video I want to talk about ways you can improve your lodge from a ritual point of view, to improve how your lodge performs ritual, and retention rate in your lodge as well. Now there's probably a lot of people probably have a lot of opinions about this, and that's cool. These are just my opinions. The best way to improve lodge for me is to understand what lodge actually is. And bear with me, we'll get to some actual points that you can apply in lodge. Let me just explain my logic for a second, because maybe sometimes I need my own logic explained to myself. Lodge, the real work of a Freemason is not done in lodge. I've said that over and over again, and I'll continue saying it. I've written lectures about this, I've spoken to other people about this. The real Masonic work is not conducted in a lodge. A lodge is there to sharpen your tools. So when we talk about lodge, what happens in lodge? We have a business meeting. In some lodges they'll just open, do general business and close. You're not going to retain your members for that. If you have an issue with ritual and people aren't performing ritual, they find it hard to memorize and all this kind of stuff, and there's whole conversations, there's books written on it. There's lots of videos out there written on this stuff, on how to memorize ritual. If you have to memorize a ritual, you're doing it wrong. There's the first problem. Oh, dust is so tasty and good in the eyes. That's brilliant. A wise man would pull over and let it pass. I'm not wise. So first understand what actually lodge is for. That's my first tip. People go to lodge the same reason, or similar reasons we'll say, as people go to a church. They go to a church to recharge. The preacher doesn't stand up on the podium and say, hey, this is what we discussed in our last meeting, which was the business of the lodge, or sorry, of the church. These are the finances. See you next week. No. They get a bit of scripture and they explain that scripture and bring it into real terms on how you can apply that to your life, what it actually means. And that's what we need to be doing in lodge more often. Explaining what it means, because we only meet once a month. People go to church once a week. They go once a week, they're burnt out. They need a recharge. Masons go once a month. I can tell you our working tools from a moral sense, they're blunt. They are so blunt. You've just spent a month in the real world trying to apply this stuff to your life, to be a better person, to get more out of life, to have a different view on things, to ease life. A month of that. Your tools are blunt, dude. They need a recharge. They don't need to be better people in a boardroom. So that's the first thing that needs to be understood. Your retention rate is going to drop. No different to the retention rate of a church if they just get up there and talk about the finances of the church. People aren't going to come next week. Less and less will come. The church will die. No different in Freemason. You need to be teaching something. You need to be explaining how this ritual that we teach in your degree work applies to your life, and how each different situation that may arise in life, how the ritual can help you. So education and lectures are extremely important, particularly if you've just done a first degree. So let's look at what happens in some lodges. And I'm not saying all, right? I'm not throwing every single Masonic lodge in the world in the same category, so don't get me wrong. I'm just talking about some lodges, right? But every lodge, if they want to improve their ritual, yeah, this applies. Now, if you do a first degree and then the next month you've got no work on, so you do nothing. Okay, cool. That's your choice. That's your lodge. You run your lodge how you please. What's the candidate getting out of this? And that's what you've got to think of. Sorry, I just realised I've got a pocket open as I'm writing. What's the candidate getting out of this? What are you promising the candidate? What do you think the candidate's expecting when they join a Masonic lodge? I don't think they're expecting to just be told some ritual and then the general operations of the lodge, the business side of it. They're there to learn. They're hungry. That's why they've joined you. So teach. Every Mason is a teacher and a student. It's what we are. It's like going to a university degree and they're not teaching you anything, they're just teaching you about the finances of the uni. So let's get back to teaching. And that's going to improve the ritual, because when people are trying to recite ritual, and like I said, there's entire books and YouTube videos and conversations going on about the how to memorize ritual. You're doing it wrong. You need to understand it. Deliver it from the heart, deliver it with wisdom, because you are teaching something to somebody, not just blurting out meaningless words. So if all you did in lodge, when you don't have degree work, is just go through one portion of the ritual, like a priest would go through just one bit of scripture or a couple of bits of scripture, and explain how that applies to the real world and what the true meaning of that bit of ritual is, well, then people are going to have a better understanding of what it is they're talking about. It's not hard to remember things when it's a lesson learned, when it's wisdom, when you've applied it to your life. It's second nature. You're just teaching someone something. Just think about your hobby, a hobby that you may have, or something that you've got real knowledge about, real wisdom about. If someone's asking you about something you're passionate about, a hobby that you may have or whatever it is, you don't need a book in front of you to explain it. You know it from heart. And you're going to speak about it in a passionate tongue. You're going to emphasize on things because you're passionate about it. That should be no different when you're delivering any kind of ritual, when you're delivering a charge, delivering the working tools to someone. If you haven't applied them to your life, how can you teach? You don't understand them. Oh, bit of loose gravel. So it's important to do some lectures or just read through some ritual and explain it. That's how you're going to improve how the brethren of your lodge deliver ritual, by ensuring they understand it. The way you're going to keep people have a good retention rate in your lodge is by understanding why they joined. Some people join Freemasonry for different reasons. Freemasonry, everyone's on their own journey, and you need to tolerate that. Not everyone's on the same path as you, or the same journey as you, or the same progress down the road as you, right? So you need to understand what your members are hungry for, and generally it's going to be knowledge. They're going to want to understand things more. They want to change their life. So offer that, give that. When someone joins, and I've had this conversation with my own mother lodge, because we're talking about, should we advertise for some more members or not? We do have new members coming in. Our lodge is growing. Like most lodges, I'm not saying Freemasonry is dying, because there are new people that want to join Freemasonry every day. I'm saying the retention rate for some lodges is probably not as good as it could be, and that's because they're not delivering what people are wanting or expecting. A lot of people hear all this stuff online about Freemasonry and the secret handshakes and the secret passwords and the ritual that goes on behind closed doors and all that kind of stuff, and yet they're given that. They're told the passwords, they're shown the handshakes, and they experience the ritual. But if that's all they're experiencing and they're not actually applying it, you're not going to have a very healthy lodge. Start doing some charges, or start doing some lectures. Deliver some lectures in lodge, different interpretations on things. And look, I'm quite fortunate, I think I am anyway. My mother lodge is a Scottish working lodge. So for those outside of Queensland, in other states of Australia or around the world, in Queensland we've got the UGLQ ritual, which is sort of your standardised ritual around Australia. In England it's an English ritual pretty much. But in Queensland we also have Scottish working lodges and Irish working lodges. So you'll have a Scottish ritual and an Irish ritual. Those rituals are completely different. Sort of the same story. It's just the way that we teach stuff is a bit different. We explain things a lot more. Sorry, this part of the road's a bit sketch. I'll just have to focus for a second. The rituals are a bit longer too. A third degree is much longer than a third degree in a standardised ritual. Because we go into a lot of detail, we explain things, we explain the meaning, the history behind different things as well. And I'm not knocking UGLQ ritual or any standardised ritual. I'm just saying the Scottish one is a lot longer. You could turn around and flip that and say, well, maybe the Scottish working lodges are a little bit thicker, so we have to explain it to each other in more detail. Maybe we just don't get it. That's why it's such a longer ritual. But whichever way you want to look at it, it's fine. So even in your lodge, if you don't want to just go through the ritual that you have, grab another ritual. Grab a ritual from another country and start going through that. That's a new experience. That's something different. We're all there to learn, and learning different ritual, someone else's ritual, is interesting. If they've got different bits in there, we've got ritual or charges in our ritual. That there's only 2 lodges in the country that have that particular charge. It came from a lodge called Ashton, and we sort of inherited that as well, because they were sort of helping us through a bit of a stage of ritual work, and that was sort of sneaked into our ritual. So there's only 2 lodges that actually have this particular charge. It's an interesting one to deliver. There's nothing wrong with going to another lodge and delivering a charge that your lodge has that another lodge doesn't. And so visiting is also key as well. Get your brethren out visiting, meeting other lodges, and definitely, if you can, if there are lodges in your area that do different ritual, go experience it. If you've had a candidate that's just done a first degree, get them out visiting. Go to another lodge that's doing a first degree. Because physically being there and, being the candidate, you're seeing the ritual from, first person perspective, right? You're going through it. And there's no way any candidate can walk away from an initiation, from an initiation, remembering everything they just went through. There is so much they get told. So when they get to sit in the sidelines and watch someone else go through it, they'll start remembering, like, that's what that is. I missed that word, or I missed that whole charge. It's good for them. It's healthy for them. Sorry, just sort of focusing a little bit. It's rather sketchy here. I don't know if it's coming off on camera or not. It probably won't. Anyway. So take them out visiting. Visit other brethren. That's networking, right? You're meeting other Masons. You're hearing their opinions, their views, their understanding of different ritual, particularly if they're doing educational talks as well. You're getting out there. That's what Freemasonry is about. It's the Masonic work is on yourself. It's all internal work. You're bettering yourself, understanding yourself, discovering yourself. But Freemasonry is also about networking. It's getting out there, meeting other brethren. That's how you learn, pick up on new things, meet new people. So get them out visiting. That's definitely going to help keeping the new brethren interested and excited about Freemasonry. They don't know where they're going to go next. They don't know what they're going to see next. When they rock up to lodge, they don't know what they're going to learn next. It should be excitement for them. So grab other ritual. If you're a UGLQ working lodge, reach out to a Scottish working lodge. Have your secretary reach out to... I'm just skidding down here. Thank you. I don't know if the camera shows it, but my back wheel was just locking up, and applying the front brake wasn't doing too much to slow me down. I'm just skidding down that hill, and thankfully that guy in the ute saw that and let me go first. Sorry, I'll slow down. I'll behave. So reach out to another lodge in a different state or a different country. Do some research online. There are rituals online that you can just openly get. The general public can read these rituals. Jump online, research different rituals from different countries and different times, and then read through it. Look at some of the charges that are a bit different, or different wording that they use, and deliver that in lodge. That's something new, that's something different, that's another interpretation. The ritual has changed. The ritual has changed over time, and I've been through this when because I've read ritual from a lot of different countries, and I've read ritual for a lot of different secret societies, for a different lack of a better word, and for all the different orders that are in Freemasonry and outside of Freemasonry. I've read ritual, man. There's a lot of really cool stuff in there from different countries. Read that out, do some research on it, and then just do some education. Just say, well, here's the charge that we deliver from the 1800s. This is how it's changed. This is what it means. Here's a charge that's in a Scottish ritual that we don't have in our ritual. This is what it means. That alone is education. It's very interesting to people as well. It's also given a bit of history about Freemasonry. The fact that the Masonic story for 1 degree has changed. I mean, for starters, the 3rd degree wasn't always there. And when it initially was there, it was a different story. I'm not going to say what the story was about, because I'm not about to give away any Masonic secrets, but the story itself has changed. And so when I was writing a lecture about the ancient landmarks of the order, someone else has done, Albert Mackey, isn't it? Did a write-up on I think he came up with 25 ancient landmarks, which it's an interesting read. But when you research it, you know that they cannot be, the 25 that he came up with cannot be what the real ancient landmarks are. Just by doing this research and reading some of the stuff from some of the famous Masonic writers, it's interesting, and that will capture the attention of your brethren in lodge. So education is key. Doing some research and understanding where things are coming from and helping the brethren understand where some of the ritual comes from and what it means and how it applies to life is going to improve the health of your lodge, the retention rate of your lodge, and you're going to see more people attracted to your lodge. You'll get more visitors because they know your lodge is doing a lot of education. You're reading things out and explaining things that are not seen in your normal everyday ritual. So do some research and read different stuff out. Reach out to other lodges. If you know there's lodges in your area that have a completely different ritual to you, go visit. Watch them do some degree work. So anyway, that's just my opinion. Like everything else, take it as a grain of salt. That's completely up to you. Abuse me in the comments. Do as you wish. That's fine. But that's what I believe you can do in order to help people improve ritual when it comes to the delivery of ritual, and help improve the retention of the members in your lodge and engaging your members in the lodge. Those two things: education and understanding the ritual. That's all for me. Have fun. I'll see you at the next one. If you do want lecture ideas, I do have a book. It's actually been updated at the moment. It is not for sale in mainstream because it does have a lot of Masonic secrets in there. So the only way to get it is reach out to me via Masonica. The website's in the contact details for the YouTube channel. I need to verify that you are a Freemason, and we can do that in the usual Masonic manner, by which you would go through when you go to visit a lodge, interstate or locally. Your secretary will need to reach out to me. I can verify who they are, and we can arrange a book to be sent out to you. There's also some lectures on the Masonica website as well. You do have to be logged in. Access to Masonica is 100% free. I just need to, again, verify that you are a Freemason, because the stuff that is locked behind the the login is all, well, Masonic related. So I'm not giving away secrets. I didn't create the site to give away secrets. So you have to be a verified Mason. And if you are, if you're an entered apprentice, you can join. Fellow craft or master Mason, you can join. There are different access levels. So entered apprentice will only be able to see entered apprentice related stuff, same as fellow craft. So yeah, reach out if you want access to it. It's all good. It's free. If your lodge is on Masonica, so on the Masonica website, we do have a directory of all the lodges in Queensland. Look, if your lodge is outside of Queensland and you want to be listed on the Masonica website for the nights that you meet, let me know. It's all cool. It's not just for Queensland. It's just that I'm in Queensland and I wanted something really for myself, and I can just go to that website and it shows me on a map who's meeting for that night and what work they're doing. It just makes it easy for me to go out and visit. So if you are interstate, if you are overseas, it doesn't matter where you are. Lodge secretaries can get access. They can have a username and password, and they can log in and update what days they're doing work and what work they're going to be doing, and it will be published on the map in the main directory for all to see. Anyway, enjoy, have fun, and I'll see you at the next one if I don't see you in Lodge.